Welcome to Higher Man. This is my first regular format video. I want to take the time to share what this channel is about and what it's going to be. The term higher man, this is a Nietzsche-ian concept. This comes from the book Thus Spoke Zarathustra. And in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Zarathustra is, he plays a prophet, or the character is a prophet that tells the masses of people that God is dead and that it is up to men to really save themselves, that God isn't going to save them. And this is very much the case in postmodern society. This was Nietzsche's postmodernism, his take on postmodernism, and that everybody needs to be stepping up to the plate or face extinction. There's a term that's used early on in the book. Zarathustra calls the masses of people the last men, and this is very apt. This is a good term for most people that are walking around today. They're just kind of on autopilot. They're just in survival mode, going through the motions, and they're really not doing much to contribute to the betterment of humanity. And once a man realizes that he has a higher purpose and he wants to achieve that higher purpose, that's when he becomes the higher man. So becoming the higher man is actually not that easy or not that difficult of a thing to do. It's pretty easy, but it's a long process. And the final form is the Übermensch, the Superman. So in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Zarathustra is the Übermensch. Everybody is jealous. They're secretly jealous. They publicly ridicule him and they're secretly jealous of him. Because he's got it all figured out. But yes, higher man, being that higher man and going through the process of the journey of self-improvement, that's what I want to focus on. I am going to be doing some thoughts on there's certain books that I read. Some of the stuff that I read is just trash. And I'll share with that as well. I'll be like, yeah, I didn't really like that book. There's actually a lot of books that have been recommended to me that I read, and they're just, I don't really get anything out of them. And I'll share that with y'all. There is a book that I am in the middle of making a video about, which is The Alchemist. And The Alchemist was very good. So I'm going to give a positive take on that and how that's affected me and the impact. I want to talk about navigating the differences between men and women. This isn't going to be a channel that focuses specifically on that. There's a lot of channels on the internet that are different colored pharmaceuticals. They're talking about those. I won't talk about that entirely, but maybe a little bit. One of the things that I have noticed is after doing a lot of reading about differences between men and women, the praxeology, the different behaviors, it's for the purpose of relationships, but then you start noticing that it's not just romantic relationships. You start noticing that, I run a business, and so dealing with men in one way and dealing with women in another way has been really helpful. It's made things a lot easier. A big part of my journey has been breaking old habits. And I think that that's the biggest thing that people have to get through whenever they go. They try to achieve this Übermensch, go through the process of becoming a higher man and striving to be that best version of yourself, is getting out of the way of yourself. They say, you hear that a lot. It's like, oh, you got to get out of the way of yourself. And that's the habits. It's like everybody's going to be stuck. Jordan Peterson says, You have to burn the dead wood off, and you have to start with what is good. And that's a big part of it. I want to, once you start recording yourself, you start noticing how you speak, and you want to change certain things. I use a lot of filler words. I want to get out of that habit, and I want to look good while speaking, be an attractive speaker. And I know that this is definitely going to help, because you're your own worst critic. So that's for me. I have lived my entire life. I was raised in the last nuclear family that ever existed. I'm sure there are other nuclear families, but mine, I like to say that it was the last one that ever existed. And we lived dead middle class. I grew up with this idea of just having enough is good enough. And we live in an abundant world. So why not live in abundance? I think that that's the big difference between the wealthy and the non-wealthy, is that the wealthy understand that we live in a world of abundance, and getting out of that mindset is really the biggest part of making that change to having wealth come into your life. Creating. This is my creating rather than consuming. Terence McKenna said we have to create culture and not consume culture. This is my creation. Do a lot of creating in my business, but I do a lot of consuming on YouTube. So this is me giving back what I'm learning, and the journey that I'm taking, and seeing if I could impact other people. Fitness and health is probably the biggest part of making that commitment to self-improvement. Everybody has that's where you have the most agency over yourself, is what you're putting into your body and how you're treating your body. It's in any state. You could always eat better, and you could always treat your body better. But it's not just that. I think that everything kind of comes at one time. You got to be working on the emotional stuff, the mental stuff, as well as the physical stuff, because the physical stuff is going to be stunted if you're not in the right headspace, not in the right emotional space. Being at that point where you are starting to actually like yourself is a big part of it, and doing, going after fitness and health, positive fitness and health, and for the right reasons is important. You do it for the wrong reasons, other problems can come up. Vices. That's one of the things that I've realized that holds me back the biggest, is the different vices that I've had. Alcohol was one of them for a really long time, and recently, within the last few years, I've just kind of naturally gotten over that. And once you get over one vice, then you can apply it to other ones. So I want to do that as well. Then financial decisions. This is, again, that abundance. It's like what I'm doing to better my position in finances. And I want to share some of that. Not financial advice, but sharing what I'm doing. Well, thank y'all. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.